Undertale is one of the best games of all time and it deserves all the recognition it gets. So I wanted to create a video on the aspects of the game that I feel deserve more attention and recognition, as well as give my own personal interpretation of this masterpiece of a game. This video will contain spoilers, particularly for the pacifist ending, so watch one of the other videos if you don't want to find out the story. Anyway, let's begin. Video games to me are another form of art, and just like art, they are subjective in how you interpret them. On one hand, Undertale is a fantastic story of a character that falls into the underground, has to navigate through a world filled with monsters requiring a human soul to escape the very prison humans put them in. On the other hand, however, Undertale to me is a story of being able to confront and move on from your demons, or in this case, monsters. Let's start at the beginning. We start the story having fallen into the underground, the metaphoric lowest point in the game, starting at literal rock bottom, not knowing where to go or who to trust. After a monster betrays us, confirming our lack of trust in others, another monster going by the name Toriel saves us and guides us through the danger-filled ruins, offering a place of safety to stay, challenging what we assume of the world. Eventually though, you begin to realise that while being the safety of this new home brings security and snail pie, you will remain here in your comfort zone unless you venture out to pastures new despite the dangers it could bring. Stepping out the ruins, the world seems cold and intimidating. Thick trees block out the light. You feel something following your shadow, a presence. As the shadowy figure approaches, you brace for the worst after just being told the world is out to get you. But instead, the monster who goes by the name Sans offers you a joke and a pardon to being captured by his brother, as he's more concerned with making his brother happy than capturing humans. You then find out the monster trying to capture you goes by the name Papyrus, and while his puzzles are somewhat dubious in terms of capturing a human alive, the fact you're even attempting him appears in making both him and Sans happy rather than actually capturing you. In fact, it's almost like Papyrus just wants to be friends. As you reach Snowdin, the first settlement, you prepare for the worst to happen. You can see monsters in the street. Surely one of them will try and capture you or report you to the royal guards. But no. In fact, they offer you a room for free. Everyone is friendly to talk to, and you even go to the local diner and enjoy a meal with the monsters. In fact, as you continue your journey, you start to realise that while it may seem the world is out to get you, and motives are not always clear from the monsters, your perspective of the world is proven wrong time and time again by simply talking to and understanding the so-called monsters. Undyne, head of the Royal Guard, hell-bent on avenging the atrocities inflicted on her kind, ends up attempting to make dinner for you as you came to understand her perspective and show mercy on her. Alfie's a royal scientist, after seeing your actions, decides not to capture you and in fact help you through the Hotland and in defending yourself against Metaton, the evil robot, who also turns out to be not so evil. It's at this point you realise that these so-called monsters are not actually monster in nature, they are very much human, each struggling with an inner battle that by simply listening to them and understanding the monster not only helps them to move on, but also changes your perspective of the world from being this cold, unknown world filled with danger and monsters to one filled with hope and friends. The culmination of this change in perspective to me is summarised in possibly one of my favourite scenes of all time in a video game, the new home scene. Simply seeing Toriel's home again instantly makes you reflect on how far you've come since the ruins. At that time you thought the world was out to get you, filled with monsters. You had your fears and doubts, but now you come to see that while the world and its people can still have its scary moments, it's a much better place than you realise. The monsters are now your friends and are rooting for you. Feelings of isolation, distrust have been replaced with hope and companionship. These feelings are backed up beautifully by the soundtrack to this area, fittingly called Undertale. The acoustic guitar playing his theme, accompanied by the main theme, is the only song to include a live recording, giving it an organic feel, contrasting with the digital guitar used in the ruins. This elicits feelings of safety, hope and comfort that you've also organically developed. The steady beat, major key and use of predominant chords convey these feelings will stay with you going from this moment onwards. Most importantly, despite everything, you're still you. You didn't allow your monster to change you for the worse. You looked at the monsters with a smile and grew as a person, ready for the next chapter with a brand new outlook. The core message of the scene to me is about sympathy, empathy, reflection and moving forward in a positive manner, which is executed perfectly in the following scenes with Asgore and Asriel. You're faced with a barrier, which to me is a metaphorical culmination of what has been holding you back, guided by Asgore, king of the monsters, who all this time wanted your soul. Previously this seemed impossible to get past, but now you show sympathy for him with the burden of what has happened to the inhabitants of the underground, but also the burden of freeing everyone, a task he clearly doesn't like that cost him his marriage. You empathise with him, combined with your own reflection of what you've experienced to come to the conclusion that the best way forward isn't with violence. But then a setback happens, a significant one at that, and despite your best efforts you initially fail to break the barrier keeping you back. Metaphorically represented by Asriel Dreamer, the amalgamation of every monster you fought against. The most powerful monster in the game appears, blocking your path, threatening everything, casting doubt on if you can try again. Can you still do it? Can you still get up and try again against even greater odds? Yes you can, and you succeed. Everything you've been through has led to this moment. All the lessons you've learned, the change in your view of the world culminates in you being able to break the barrier keeping you with your monsters. As the barrier shatters and you step into the sunlight, you leave your monsters behind you and go forward with your newfound friends by your side, with the whole world at your feet. As always, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments. Like and subscribe would be great, and I also think that Portal 2 doesn't deserve the reviews it gets. Click here to find out why. See you there.